So hey, let's talk about the jaws. So the jaws have come off and we took them out. Remember, they had those retaining pins. These jaws are very smooth and have been really worn down. So we're gonna work on these, but there's enough material here that I think we can skim this and basically make this flat again and then recut all the grooves. So right over here in the middle on the Kurt VISE, we have the first jaw set up with the cutter head. We're just going to take a nice skimming of this to make that flush, to make this nice and smooth. And then we've got a cutter that's we're going to turn this at 45 degrees or so and do the cuts on one direction, flip it over and do it on the other. So we're going to restore those teeth. So in addition, you can see this is the side that was down, so that's pretty pristine. This is the side that was up, that's beat up. We're just going to basically smooth this off as well. So let's get started. So now we've got it set up in the middle. Just checking it. Here we go. So we're going to take another pass after this. So this is hardened steel, so it's a little bit tough to cut. So we're taking very fine passes. Couple thousandths, how much are we doing here?
Probably a good 10,000.
Oh, that much? Okay. Oh, that's nice. Look how smooth that looks now. It was worn mostly on the outside edges, not in the center, which is interesting. That's pretty darn nice. Okay, so we're going to do one more pass to clean up that top edge, which has been beat up pretty badly.
It might take two, I don't know.
It's nice you got a wide enough cutter you can cover the whole thing. Boy, that does leave a nice surface, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So here's that first jaw face. Look how nice that is. So we're certainly going to, again, skim the beat up top part a little bit, but that's going to accept really nice cuts for the new jaw face. Time for number 2. So we're going to measure the distance between each groove before we take our next cut so we can reproduce that. So these are 100 thousandths apart from each groove. and maybe about 20 thousandths deep. So that's what we're going to reproduce. So here we got that surface flattened, just like on the other one. Looks really good. Now we'll do the edges a little bit. So here we go, resurfacing the edge, the top edge of the vice jaw.
But it depends on.
One more pass, just a couple thousandths more. So we're going to skim the other surface, the bottom surface, just to make it nice.
Nice to make it look good.
Got the other jaw to machine the surface that was beat up, and then we'll just skim off the other surface as well, making it nice. Here's the third pass because it was so badly beat up. This should take care of it for us. So here's the final look of our jaws. Face, one edge, and the other edge. Pretty nice. Now we're getting ready to cut the grooves in the face of these vice jaws. Okay, we're just trying to set it up so we can just touch off to the very edge of the plate or the vice jaw right now. And then we're going to go 20 thousandths deep and every 100 thousandths spacing. And that should give us the ideal setup at 45 degrees. We'll do this side this way, flip the jaws and come back the other way. Okay, first thing we're going to just touch off and then set our depth at 20 thousandths. And then once we do this, we're using the digital readout, the DRO, and we'll set it at 20 and every 100. All right, lock it at 20, and here's our first cut. So there's that first cut. Here's the second one. That bluing really sets it apart. You can really see it. Look at that, nice. All right, now for our third cut, we've reduced the depth a little bit just to give us a little bit wider flat. And here goes our fourth cut. And we'll just continue the process all the way across. Okay, now we're at 500 thousandths. Looking good. So you can see we're making progress. We're at the 27th line, I think, because we're at 2,700. 2.7 inches. Going up 100 thousandths each time. So look at that. We've got all the first face all done. It looks beautiful. Again, 100,000 between each one of these grooves gives us a nice flat, and they're 20 thousandths deep. That should work great. We're going to touch off now and then do the other vice jaw because we're going to keep it in the same orientation before we have to turn the vice 45 degrees. Okay, so now we've got all of these cuts made. And now we're going to come across at 45 degrees and cut these. Again, keeping the same depth, we just rotated the vise, and we'll do these again, 20 thousandths of an inch deep, and they're spaced apart 100 thousandths. All right, check this out. We've got the first face cut, both directions. It's a thing of beauty. It looks terrific, fantastic. We're getting ready to do the other one right now. Okay, we've finished the cross-cutting on both of the vice faces. Look how good that looks. So both these are ready to go. If you want to heat treat these, that'd be the next step. So we've got this propane heater, we've got the VISE jaws that we're heating up slowly, and then this container has oil in it. We're heating it as well. And we're going to heat the bars up to the proper temperature and quench those in the oil. We wanted to heat the oil up for this because we didn't want it to be a real shock or an explosion. So heating the oil up, I think, is going to make the quenching easier. So we're checking the temperature. It's 456 degrees already. And you can see that the jaws have already been bluing. So it's heating up quickly. Okay, we've got the oil up to 250 and we think that's going to be good. We're going to move it down to the plank here. So we're taking our time, we're not rushing it. We're at about 400 degrees. It's going up. Okay, we're going to light it up and heat it up. So we're trying to do this uniformly, keep the heat very even. Boy, it's almost red hot now.
Yeah, it's kind of slow. That's probably going to be hot enough. We're going to go with it.
Now we're going to let it sit there. And there it is. I'll do the other one. All right, so we can see that it's getting red, almost hot enough to get quenched. So these jaws have now been refaced, skimmed on both sides, heated appropriately, oil quenched, and then we just washed them off in the parts washer. Now we're going to do some tempering. These are very hard now. They have a very hard surface, but it's probably a little bit brittle. So if we temper these, it'll reduce that hardness a little bit, but make these much more durable. So we're going to place this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 4 hours and just let it cool off very, very slowly. Then our VISE jaws will be done. So my wife's very nice in letting me do this. And we're going to bake at 400 degrees, enter. And there we go. So we're just going to put those in. Let that baby heat up for about 4 hours, and then we'll let it cool off very slowly. So these are out of the oven, they've been tempered, so not only are they heat treated, but they're also then a little bit stronger, less brittle. The reason we heat treated these is because when we skimmed the surface of this, we took that heat treated layer off. It was very hard metal, so we made them again very hard and then tempered them so they're not that brittle. They turned out really, really well. I'm excited to put these back in the VISE and basically have it restored. If this was helpful, please click thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Thank you.